Hey, welcome back to the last day of me working on this tapestry blanket, because tomorrow we go live and work on the crochet along. I'm already live now, so that's no different. 3 black, desert glaze 11, 1, 2. Hey guys, welcome in. So good to see you. Just getting started with some work on a little tapestry blanket, and we are starting our tapestry blanket crochet along tomorrow. Hey there, Karen. Good to see you. Good to see you. So yeah, we're going to be starting the crochet along tomorrow. I am super excited to actually get a break from this project here. Not that this project is difficult. It's just that it's taking me much longer than it should because of how much yapping I'm doing. And you know how that goes. Thank you for the heart. What are you up to tonight, Karen? Are you working on anything? Hi, Mr. Double. Good to see you over there on YouTube. All right. I'm hoping for a nice, easy night where I don't have to frog anything. I haven't really had to frog a lot on this. It's just funny that sometimes I'll be talking and I can't seem to count to 3 or pay attention to what number change color change I'm on. So this will be, I think, nice when we're doing it, the other one live together, so I can actually talk through the work I'm doing a little bit better. Especially because there's people, hey Aaron! Oh, you're working on your corner to corner. Very cool. Very cool. Karen's got a corner to corner going on right now, and thank you for the gifts, Karen. I appreciate it. Welcome in, guys. So, all right, let's just keep plodding along here. 125 white. I'm in that barren patch of land. Karen, when we do the crochet along, will you be doing any videos or anything? I'm just curious to see, because I'd like to see some people's progress. So I'm hoping I can find some people that are doing the crochet along that will also be posting progress stuff, so I can see. Oops, I just half double crocheted 2 together. Oopsies. So you can? Okay, that would be great. Yeah, I just want to see how it's working out for somebody else. Obviously, you guys will see what I'm doing, but I think one of my favorite things is, because I've done a few of those floral Fantasia blankets. I'm currently working on 2 right now. I've completed a few in the past. I've gotten a lot of people who are doing those, and actually you messaged me today and said you just bought the pattern as well. I love running across people's floral Fantasias, because when you're working on that pattern, it's easy to look at it too long, so you forget how stunning it really is, if that makes sense. So, hey Vanessa, good to see you. So, it's the same thing I think with the tapestry stuff. Somebody the other day just tagged me in a video of a Broncos tapestry, the one that I had done for my husband last year, or maybe it was this year. I don't remember. I started it at some point. Somebody had messaged me and asked for the pattern, so I went ahead and sent it to her, and she did a video about it, and it was so cool to just see it, because I was like, oh, that is a really cool pattern. It came out so well. And when I was working on it, you know, you get too close to it. Hey, writing is fun. I am good. How are you tonight? I'm really excited to start on the next project, although the first couple rows are just going to be, 5 rows of 80 stitches. It'll be nice and simple, and then people, as they filter in, if people have questions, we can go over that. I really do not know what to expect. Hey, thanks for the follow. I don't know what to expect with this, and honestly, I haven't watched other live creators very often. Now a couple of my friends go live. Karen, I keep missing your lives, but you go live, I think you go live right as I'm getting off of mine, and then I'm usually like taking a shower, heading to bed, or taking a bath and heading to bed because I'm so tired. So the size of hook. So Karen wants to know, what size of hook will we be using? That is all dependent. I don't think tapestry, unless you've got a tapestry that's done to gauge, I don't think it's typical for tapestry to dictate the type of stitch you do, the size of hook you do, or the type of yarn you do. So everything is really variable there, or at least none of the patterns I've seen have told me this stuff. Mostly it's just, here's the colors, here's the number of stitches in those colors, and do them. So, oh, okay, so Karen hasn't been live in a while. Yeah, I guess what's happening is I'm seeing some of your videos come across my page. They're probably older ones, where you're saying, hey, I'm getting ready to do my live tonight, and I think diamond painting, which is so soothing to watch. Writing is fun, says pretty well. I baked cookies, baked bread rolls. Oh my goodness. Mostly finished your wizard hat and started a sewing project. What are you doing? What are you sewing? What's the sewing project? And also, what kind of cookies did you bake? Writing is fun says, how do you get the giveaway blankets to the winner? So in the past, I just had them message me with their address and I just ship it to them. So, and so far the winners have been on TikTok, and I think it just stands to reason that that's probably going to happen more often than not, just because I've got like 3,400 followers on TikTok and 800 on YouTube. So I get so many more comments on TikTok, and I don't know what it is with that. I get more views on my shorts on average in YouTube than I do in TikTok. So TikTok, it's got me like, every once in a while I'll get one that'll hit 1,000 plus, or I just had one the other day that did 30,000, which was pretty crazy. But YouTube consistently is over 1,000 views, where for me TikTok is typically under 500. So but I just ship it to them. So if the winner is on YouTube, like if you were to win it, then I guess I would just we'd have to find a way for me to get an address or ship it to a PO box or whatever you're comfortable with. But that's how I've given them so far. Just toss them in a box and send them out. So yeah, Karen had a great question. Hey, Dimples. Karen had a great question earlier about what size of hook will we be using, and my response was, use what you're comfortable with. So, you know, if you want to know what size you're going to end up with, I would do a gauge swatch. It will be 80 stitches wide. Plus, if you're doing a single crochet, then as you mentioned earlier, Karen, we'd have an extra chain at the end for turning, but it'll be 80 stitches wide. So I'd maybe do a gauge swatch, and it's 110 rows tall. So if you were to do like a swatch that's maybe 10 stitches wide and 5 inches tall, you could just measure it and get an idea, do the math, and get an idea of what the finished product size will be. And then you'll know if you need to size up or size down with your needle, or with your yarn, or with your stitch type too. That's going to make a huge difference. So my stitches, my half double crochet is much more square than my single crochets are. For me, single crochets are short and wide, and enough to skew a picture. Oops, I've got a string hanging up in here. Enough to skew the picture. And so half double crochet doesn't skew the final product as much for me as single crochet does. But I think single crochet looks really nice because it's so compact and pretty. Hey, crochet and knitting guy. Stay a while. It's good to see you. We're just talking about the tapestry crochet along that is starting tomorrow about this time. So about 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time, or wherever you are. About this time it starts tomorrow, and it will go weeknights. We've got a free pattern for you. It's in my link on TikTok, and it's in my posts in YouTube. And you can download it and come by and have some fun. I assume you like crocheting, since your name is Crochet and Knitting Guy. Karen says I mostly use a J hook on my blankets. What do I use? I use a G. 4.25 millimeters. Is a J of, what is that, a 5.5? I think I used to use an I hook a lot, which I think is a 5 millimeter. I don't change hook sizes very often. It's a 6. Okay, 6 millimeter. Perfect. So whenever I can get away with it, I'm using this size, and I don't know why I like this size of needle. It just feels right in my hand. And I don't know what project I started doing, but again, with my tension, this usually ends up being the perfect, if I do gauge swatches, this ends up measuring what I want. Plus also, because I make blankets and I'm rarely following purchased patterns. Mine is Floral Fantasia, obviously, but you know, if I'm making a flat blanket, I kind of determine how big things are, so I use the size of hook that's comfortable for me. See, Running is Fun says, if somebody on YouTube won, probably have them give you a phone number or email address and delete the comment right after you see it. If a minor one, maybe talk to their parents. Yeah, so if a minor one, that would be totally, yes, totally good point there. It would mean I would need to make sure that a parent was okay with me. Probably not even get the minor's name. You know, I could just send it in care of the parent. But yeah, we could do, and probably what I would do is I have a Gmail account, so I could just post my email address for the winner, my Gmail address for the winner, and then they could send me an email. So, oops, I didn't do my method and I almost had some strings overlapping here. And then I'll take the risk of the spam. I didn't realize, so YouTube used to have a DM feature. I am almost positive. It's, so much has changed on YouTube, and I feel like a lot changed after like TikTok became popular because of all the shorts and stuff. Like I feel like YouTube has changed, and I remember the very, very olden days, early 2000s, when YouTube first came out, and how different it is now. I remember back then you could only do, I think it was a 2 or 3 minute video. It absolutely, it had to be like home movie quality. The coolest stuff came out though, and then really I think YouTube birthed a lot of the other live form social media. So YouTube was definitely the forerunner there. All right, so Karen says, so it'll be half double crochet throughout the entire blanket. That is if I use half double crochet. Yes. So you're going to use one stitch type no matter what. You're just going to pick the stitch type, and that is what you're going to be doing. So this entire blanket is half double, and this is what I like about tapestry. There's no thinking. You're literally counting numbers of stitches in colors. That's it. Everything else, if you can half double crochet or single crochet, you can do this. So 122. Okay, so I need to go, the last time I did black I had 125. Now it's telling me to go back with 122. So I need to stop 3 stitches short. And you guys, that is my trick for not having to count huge patches like this. If you are very confident in your stitch placement. If you're not confident in it, you know, if you're a person who gets to the end of your work and it looks like you're dropping stitches or adding stitches, if you're at that phase of your crochet abilities, then you do want to count. But it is very rare that I drop stitches anymore. And when I do, it's like right now, the other night I was over or under a stitch, and it was because I had miscounted because I was talking. So, but that's one also thing that I do like about tapestry is you can tell by the end of the row if you've made a mistake. You shouldn't be able to get too much further without finding that mistake. So if you make a mistake somewhere in the row and somehow you don't catch it, which is hard because again, if you get to the end of your row, you know, and it says, okay, do, for us, it'll be 5 terracotta. If you get to the end and you only have 4 terracotta spaces, well, then we've got problems, right? So, you know, but usually your mistakes, you will find it in the same round or by the next round. So, and the biggest place where I find that I make mistakes, I've mentioned this before, is when I'm doing color joins. So when I bring in a new color and add it in, or I'm adding a new yarn, like maybe this ball of yarn runs out, so I have to throw another ball of white on there. What I will find is sometimes I'll just pull the knot too tight when I'm knotting the work together, and it will kind of shrink up one of the 2 stitches. It'll either shrink up the old color or the new color and basically disappear a stitch. So it's kind of annoying, but if your count is ever off, that's the first place for me that I go look, is to see, did I just join some yarn a little bit ago? And if so, did I pull my knot too tight? All right. No problems here. So I'm just so excited to be actually talking about that other blanket and working on a smaller project. I wasn't intending when I started this one, I wasn't intending on working on it in my lives. Obviously I was thinking I was going to do that Floral Fantasia blanket in my lives, which I don't even know what my thought process was there either. I guess when it gets big enough, it just kind of takes over the whole screen anyways. I really wanted to be able to do that. I think it's cool. It's such a beautiful blanket. It's so eye-catching. And really, I wanted people to see how I don't want to say easy. I don't think the blanket is as complicated as people think it is going to be. If you're confident in your skills, and you guys see, I make all those videos explaining which stitches are in which rounds. I do that so people can say, oh, it's a half double crochet or a front or back post half double crochet. If you can do the front and back post versions of any stitches, then you should be golden. So that one's fun to work on though, because I like every round is different. I am getting ready to change up a little bit when I make my videos. It takes so long on some of these, like the one I posted today. There were 3 rounds because I do a video on every color change. So I don't do it at the end of every round. And I think there was 3 rounds in the last one, and there was 14 stitch types. Do you guys know how long it takes to sit there and I like find a half double and video it? My hands look all shaky. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's like almost embarrassing. And then I'm like always looking at my fingernails. Oh, what if I have a hangnail? So, I'm thinking about listing the stitches still, but not showing them, because I don't know that actually looking at a half double crochet is going to make you think, oh, I could do that half double crochet. I mean, looking at one doesn't show you how to do it. So, but I'm thinking about doing that to hopefully reduce some of the film time required, especially at these shorter rounds when most of them are taking, 20 to now they're heading to 25 and 30 minutes a piece. It's like I gotta stop every few minutes and take more videos. So it's just adding more work to it, and I want to get through this thing. Writing is Fun says, I was joking about the floral scent, but that's so interesting that your lotion is floral scented. Yes. Oh, that's funny too. So when I saw that comment, I actually chuckled to myself because I was thinking, I know that you're being funny, but also it does smell. I'm a big floral scented person. Those are my favorite scents. If I get candles or lotion or perfume or anything, I'm usually going to go for a floral scent more than a sweet or food scent or musks or vanillas, those types of things. They all smell incredible too, but it's not my style. I don't know why I like floral so much. I guess to me it's just clean and simple. And a floral, in the floral field, I guess, my very favorite scents are jasmine and gardenia and lilac. Lilac's actually my favorite. So jasmine, gardenia, lilac, and rose. If I could just be surrounded by those scents all day long, I would love it. Sharika says, how many chains did you do? Okay, Sharika, so on this project that I'm working on, let me show you. This tapestry here, this is a blanket where the picture is laid out like this. So I'm actually working the long edge. The blanket would be used this way. This one's a 200 chain. This is a custom blanket that I'm working on, but the one that we start tomorrow, this one, so I'll be switching out projects because tomorrow we're doing the crochet along, where this one's only 80 chains or 80 stitches wide. And then depending on whether you do a half double crochet or single crochet, so you could do either stitch that you want with this, that will tell you how many more chains you need to do so you can turn and start working into the chain. So if you decide to do this pattern in single crochet, you're going to do 80 chains, you're going to add one more chain, and then you're going to start crocheting into the second chain from the hook. If you're going to do half double crochet, which is what I do, I will chain 80, then add 2 at the end, and I will crochet, start my half double crochets on the third stitch from the hook. So hopefully that was what you were asking. And if you're asking about this one, yes, this one's 200 wide, and that's why it feels forever. And that's why you can also see all this white space, because I specifically wanted this feature and didn't even think about this. How boring the white space could end up looking. Writing is Fun says, I always go for lemon. Okay, I actually didn't consider that too. I love citrus as well. So lemon, I agree with that. Floral scents are so beautiful, but one of my friends is allergic. Don't want to agitate their immune system in any way. That's very, very sweet of you. My dad is really allergic to lilacs, and that being my favorite scent kind of sucked growing up. And it probably when I first left home and I could have actual lilacs in the house, I loved it. And then forever and ever, we never lived anywhere where there were lilac bushes. We always talked about planting them, but then moved later. My husband and I have done quite a bit of moving. We're not on the lam though. Don't worry about that. Everything's fine. Don't go calling the FBI. But we've done a lot of moving. Anyways, the house that we landed in right now that we're renting we ended up moving in 2024 in the fall. And so we didn't know what the bushes were outside. And guess what I found last spring? Freaking lilac bushes, 8 of them. I'm in heaven. And they're all getting ready to bloom. So I'm gonna have 1,000 lilacs in my house again. But I do love lemon scent too. Love it. Hey everybody, coming on in. We're just talking about tapestry crochet, getting ready for our crochet along tomorrow. I'm excited. I'm not excited, but I'm oh crap, you guys, I wasn't paying attention. I needed to go 3 less. 1, 2, 3. I am excited for working on that smaller project. I've said it already. I don't care. I'm excited for it still. This thing is unwieldy, and the bigger it gets, the harder it is to move around. This is going to be something like this big is the perfect project to do in bed, in my opinion. All right, we have to do 6 black. Okay, so I'm going to show this again. I didn't do any specific videos on this, but I have my black string is over here, and I need it to be over here 3 stitches over because I'm doing reversible work. I don't want to have to clip this off and join it, so I am going to drag it over and finish out my white stitch with it like normal. I give a little tug, not on the string that's connected over here to the ball of yarn. I give a little tug on the string that's connected to my work, just to kind of loosen it up a little bit, because if it's too tight, it'll pucker your work. You'll end up creating little squinches in your work. So give it a little tug. It's better if it's a little loose than too tight. And then when I crochet, let's see if I can do this. When I crochet over it, I make sure that it is under the stitches. So those ones are easy, but like this last stitch here, I don't want this thing dragging across. It's really hard to see. I don't want that dragging across. So I just put my hook under it and make sure that it gets worked up under the black stitches, and now you can't see it at all. So that's how I do that. 2, 3. All right, so it said to do 6 of these and 11 of the orange again. What do I have? The wrong side facing me, so I bring my yarn around the front of my hook so that the strings will come out of this side of the blanket, but I'm also, once I put it around the front of my hook, I pull it back behind my work so it doesn't get in my way while I work on the next color. Hi Lexi. Yes, you're welcome. If you've got any other questions, let me know. I mean, this stuff for me, I forget because I've done a few of these. I forget what people don't know, but if you've got any questions about this, let me know. I've done a few videos recently in preparation for the crochet along tomorrow. And I think next time I do one of these, I will have a better idea of the kinds of questions people have. Because I've had things like, you know, what size of yarn, what size of hook, and I didn't realize that that I wasn't being clear. That's almost open to interpretation. Pick your stitch, pick your yarn, pick your thing, do what you're comfortable with, because we're just making patterns here with these color changes. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11. What do we got? 7 black. Oh, so the pattern finally, I feel like the last couple of rows have, everything's just been lining up, but I can see the pattern is shifting. Where are we at here? I think, oh, I see here. Let me see if I can get this close. I am right here. Do you see that little tiny area that's jutting out right there, right above my fingernail? Let's see if I can get you in there. I've got 2 cameras, guys, so I'm trying to zoom in, make sure I'm centered in both. So I think I'm like right up in here. This is gonna be gnarly when we get up in here. I'm really glad that I'm not gonna be doing that one live. Hey, little bird, good to see you. Alan says, so do you have some floats to weave in? Just less than normal. So I will have no floats to weave in. Thank you for the rose, little bird. Ellen, I will have, yes, little rascal, it is a Yoshi. I custom designed this blanket for somebody who loves Yoshi. So, all right, so Ellen, for the floats, there's not floats because I use individual balls of yarn for every color change. So I have an orange, a black, an orange, and the only carries I do is up. Let me see if I can zoom into this. I see I've got some comments over there. Sorry, writing is fun. I'll be back in just 1 second. So when I carry my yarn, where are we here? Carry my yarn from like this row up to this row, I will have this carry yarn, this tiny little guy here. Look, this green, he's got one. Can't even see it. It blends right in. So the way I'm doing this is going to be completely reversible. You're looking at the wrong side of my work right now, and I have not woven in my ends for a couple days. So let's get rid of these ends. But down here, everything has been woven in already, and you'll see I have no carries. So I cover everything over, and if it's something that I carry and I can't cover it over with stitches, then it gets cut and a new ball of yarn goes in. So that's how I do that. Thanks for the follow, Alan. I appreciate it. Okay, writing is fun over on YouTube, guys. So I'm on YouTube and TikTok. I stream both places simultaneously. And the reason that's important for you to know is if you're going to work on the crochet along with us, YouTube saves copies of all my lives. TikTok does not. So if you miss one, if you're late, if I go faster than you, if I go slower than you and irritate you, whatever it is, you've got freedom to just head over to YouTube. I've got the same username over there, so you can go over and subscribe. And then after a few hours, YouTube will post all my lives. So thank you for all the love. Writing is fun says 911. There's a crazy bee on the fly searching for a yes, that's me. That's me. And you know what? It's so funny with the bee thing. I'm not like particularly obsessed with bees or anything. I think I talked the other night about where I came up with that username, and then found out later a million other individuals also like bees or said humblebee. There's like a humblebee coffee shop, and I didn't know all that stuff. I just thought it was cute. Little Rascal says, awesome. I'm gonna have to go check that out. Which project are you doing for the crochet along? Okay, so this is it. This one was made intentionally smaller. So the one I'm working on right now is huge. It's 200 stitches wide. This is only 80 stitches wide. So depending on the size of yarn and the size of hook you use, this will probably be roughly the size of a baby blanket, maybe a little bit smaller than a baby blanket. But I am going to make, I think, 3 other tiles. So we can end up having 4 tiles of this that if you want, you could patch them all together, put a backing on them, make a larger blanket out of them. So this is the project that we'll be doing. And in my bio on TikTok is a link, so you can download the pattern for this. Again, I'll be going live, and that starts tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Mountain Time. If you're on YouTube, the link is in my posts. Karen says, do you do a regular chain or foundation chain for the initial row? I just do a regular chain. I don't like foundation chains. There's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong with them at all. And I think they probably look nicer than the regular. I'm just doing what's simple for people. And foundation chains, I honestly forget about them. I know that sounds silly, but sometimes I forget they exist, and then I'll see someone doing a video of them. And then I've also had foundation chains have frustrated me because I feel like I was doing something wrong. I feel like they curl more or they curve. There was something that I was doing, and most of the time I would go, okay, it's probably a tension issue. But Karen, I imagine for you, like, tension issues are not issues anymore for me. And so I think when you get enough experience with this, I don't really have tension problems. Little Rascal, what time would it be for me? I'm in Alaska. Okay, so you're in Alaska. You're an hour behind Pacific. Is that right? Okay. 4:54. Okay, very good. So you're 2 hours behind me. It'll be starting at 4:30 your time every day. It'll probably go roughly an hour. I plan to crochet for about an hour or so. And then if we're in the middle of a row when the hour is up, we're just going to finish out the row. So yeah, Karen says no, not at all. So you also don't, I don't struggle with tension stuff. And so when I do have problems with a stitch or a pattern, especially the last giveaway blanket I did, guys, the Wishful Dreams one, it kept ruffling, and not in a cute way. It was in a very annoying way. I could see that the stitches were increasing too quickly in some of the rounds. And the nice thing was somehow it ended up kind of gathering itself all back together. Most of the ruffles eventually went away. I was shocked. I've never seen anything like it. So yes, okay, good. I'm glad you'll be there. And if you miss it for any reason, over on YouTube, they're going to save it, so you don't have to, you know, if you miss the live, you can always go back and rewatch the video. Writing is fun says, I react out loud, seemingly think you can see me. That's funny. I do that too, all the time. And actually, I'm a loud reaction person anyways, just from, what am I doing that I'm struggling to think of what my next step is? Oh, I see what I'm doing. I've got a yarn, so I'm not sure if Alan is still in here, but if you're here, I will show you what we were talking about just a second ago, floating strings. So I've got an orange here. This is my orange that's connected, and I should have picked it up back here, but I ended up having to do 7 stitches, so it needs to be way out here. So there's 2 options. One is I can just float the string for an inch. If that doesn't bother you, hey, thank you for the finger heart. Okay, and yeah, Little Bird stays caught up on YouTube. So you see here, I could float this for an inch, and for most people, it's totally fine, not a problem. For me, because this is a gift for somebody, and I want this to be reversible, and I like to do things the hard way, I'm actually gonna take out my last 2 stitches, bring my orange yarn up, stitch over them, and start. And if it was too far over, maybe if my black ended up way over here, I wouldn't want to lose that much yarn anyway, so I'm actually, it'd probably still be less yarn than tying off. I was gonna say I probably wouldn't want to stitch over that much, but I think tying off would still be more yarn, so I'd probably still stitch over that. So I work the stitches whenever I can, and if I can't hide them, maybe I'm trying to think of a good example. Like if I'm doing some black and white yarn and something is showing through that I don't want showing through, then I won't stitch over something. I'll just give myself another end to weave in, and it'll be fine. Thank you, Lil Rascal. Amazing. What part of Alaska are you in? I don't know all of the geography of Alaska, obviously. I mean, I don't think unless you live in a state, probably know where everything is. But I do have a pretty good understanding that Alaska, you guys are mostly out over there on the western half, right? I've got a friend who lives in Alaska. And she lives in, I don't remember the name of the town. I love seeing some of those videos though of people who live in Alaska, and then they have to do things like go to the grocery store, and it's a 14-hour round trip. It's crazy to me. I don't know if I would be able to live like that, but also the thought of being isolated like that sometimes sounds like fun. I don't know if I would eventually go crazy. I'm kind of a homebody anyway, so it's not like I'm out and about hanging out with people. But, and I imagine that social media makes you feel more connected too. So, oh yeah, no, I'm sorry. No, you don't have to message me where you're, I was just wondering, like, are you in a big town or a little town, I guess. That's the way I should say that. A very populated area or a very remote area. Definitely, please don't say, and you guys, I'm constantly asking. I asked somebody the other day, oh my gosh, where do you work? Because I'm a very friendly person. I am such an open book, and I have to remember this is the internet and it is scary. So feel free at any time. If I ever ask you a question that makes you feel awkward, tell me, you're making me awkward. And then it'll teach me a lesson about asking personal questions. Writing is fun says, I'll be making butter shortly after this lice. I completely forgot. I know 2 people in Alaska. I've got a couple friends out there too. Actually, I was just thinking about it. A girl I went to high school with ended up out there. It's so pretty. Little Rascal says, or Karen says, I watched a lady earlier. She carried all of her yarn and crocheted over 5. What? Crocheted over 5 strands? Like you'd have, I mean, you'd have a rope. There's no way that what didn't look lumpy. How did she do that? All right, Little Rascal says, I'm in a city. My honey's family is from the village, though. Very friendly person as well. Yes. Thank you for thank you for being understanding of that. Yesterday, I asked somebody on YouTube who I know is a miner. I was like, oh, I'll send you something. I was going to send some darning needles or some tapestry needles. Just give me your address and I'll send you some, I said to the underage person. So nobody called Dateline on me. I promise. I'm never trying to be a creep. So back when I was much younger, so very early 2000s, I had a job working with sex offenders. I don't know how else to say. There's not a nice way to say that. So, and I did work with the state for a while. So it was a very interesting job. And I just forget about security, forget about weirdos. And if you're a weirdo, get off my page. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. How many was I supposed to do? 13, and I did 90, 100. Oh, of course. I need one black stitch. Are you joking me? Please do not make me. So in my pattern, you guys, I'm just reading through my thing. It tells me to do 13 orange, 1 black, and then 7 orange. So right in the middle of this big patch, right in here in this shoe, I'm supposed to do 1 single black stitch. So what I'm doing when I run across something like that in a pattern, I look at the row below it. And so if I end with 10 stitches of something, then my next row will begin. So each row I'm like working forward here, and then the next row is the opposite of the one I just did. So I'm just going to run back and see. Black 2. Okay, so there's going to be more than just 1 stitch. 1 stitch in the middle of that would have made me feel nuts. So let's go add that in. Karen says it was pretty, you couldn't tell. What? Little Rascal became a title gifter. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Writing is fun says, I trust you not to do bad things, but also internet safety. Yes, and also you really can't ever trust anybody. People are disgusting. So no matter how nice somebody is, or they seem to be, and I feel like the creepy people are the ones that are really good at being nice. So develop your intuition. I think women get that intuition pretty early. Just develop your intuition with creeps. Follow your gut. If somebody seems weird, they probably are. There's not, you know, people don't usually give you the creeps for no reason. It's not 100% true every single time, but it's a good rule of thumb if you're out by yourself. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, so I'm gonna undo this last stitch because I need to bring in my black. So again, adding a new color. I'm going to do my last stitch in orange. So it's the one I was told to do. That's my 13th stitch, but I'm not going to complete it. For me, I'm doing a half double crochet. So I have 3 loops on the hook. My goodness, that was hard to figure out. And before I finish the stitch, I'm going to add in my new color. I do not want to finish this stitch in orange because what I finish out, the loop that's left on my hook, becomes the top of the next stitch. And my next stitch is black. So I don't want the top of my black stitch to have an orange loop. So I'm going to finish this in the black. Bring this, and again, I'm bringing my yarn around to the front as I do this because I have the wrong side of the blanket facing me. Let's grab another yarn here. Writing is fun says, this is very true. I've been told, no, they aren't weird or creepy. A few months to years later, yes, they were. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's, and it's sad because then it makes us become distrustful of because the majority of the people out there, I think, are really good. I don't think people want to be nasty. I think there's just a lot of really hurting people. And I say this coming from a place of, you know, I'm a hurting person too. We're all got our things going on. And, I think it's better to be safe than sorry. And I'd rather hurt somebody's feelings than temporarily. I'd rather misunderstand somebody for a minute than give somebody the benefit of the doubt who probably shouldn't have had it. So, gots to be careful. All right, so there I added my 1 stitch. So now I got to do a really cool thing, which is give myself, like, I'm gonna have 2 strings to weave in. Now I can weave the orange in over to the orange, but look, I'm gonna have this tiny area to weave this black in. And I know there's gonna be a couple other stitches. Let me look at my pattern actually. What is it that we could be doing? Oh, it's this. Oh, I'm further up in the pattern than I thought. I thought it was way down here. You guys, I'm up here. That's where I'm at. Okay, so I will have for a little bit. I'm almost done with his shoes. So, okay, good. I do have plenty of orange. Oh, but I do need to tie this off. So when I add a new string, I like to add it in, or I keep calling it a string. I don't know, it's probably a yarn. I like to add it in and then do a couple more stitches to kind of secure it in place. And then I go back and I tie off my ends. And the reason for that is because when you're tying off the ends, you can adjust the tension, but this is where I was talking about. I just added this in, and if I would have pulled too tight, I could have pulled tightly enough to basically hide this black stitch or hide the orange stitch next to it. It's really easy to do that. So just a heads up, you guys, if you're working on your thing and your count doesn't seem to be coming out right, it's literally probably that you tied in something too tight. And even with my experience, I did it. I've done it multiple times. I did it once on this blanket. I already caught it once. So, right, black 1, desert glaze 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You know what was really cool about this blanket for me is I was able to reuse some colors I already had on hand. And then for the tapestry blanket, I think I just have, or for this one that we're going to be doing tomorrow, I just think I have colors that I like because I already had this terracotta. I already had the green. The only thing I had to buy was a little bundle of yellow because I've not crocheted with yellow before, or the kind of yellow that I wanted for this. I had that sun gold yellow that I used in my first giveaway blanket. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry, I keep completing my stitch when I shouldn't be. Another thing I'm working right now, I'm working on 6 projects now. I was 5 the other day, and then it became 6 when I got notified about a graduation. But that one is a custom Jeep. Like the front grille of a Jeep, it's like the outline of it. And so I'm doing that in a mosaic and doing the girl who it's for. I'm using her favorite colors. Oops, I didn't put my black. Kept my black in the basket with the other ones even though I was working on it, and I started pulling on it and I started yanking out a bunch of yarn from the green one. That's why I don't do that. But anyway, so I was going through, it's interesting how much of these colors that I end up reusing over and over. So I had some linen already on hand too, the background color. I had everything I needed, so I got really lucky on that. What am I missing here? Oh, black was 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. White is 9. Okay. When we're working on this one tomorrow, because I won't be, I don't think I'll be struggling to count as much as I am right now, because at that point, counting is part of the conversation. And I don't think that I'll be yapping as much, that way everyone can concentrate, but let me know, because I've not done something like this before. If you guys have participated in a crochet along, tell me what's expected. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Little Rascal has 10 whips at the moment. I prefer lots of different options. 5 are larger projects and the rest are smaller. Oh my goodness. So yes, I also prefer lots of different options too. I try not to go more than 5, but I only ever work on blankets too. So I'm not being an elitist here with my lesser number of whips. I always complete my projects. Really, it's that I just do these giant projects. And so to have 6 outstanding right now is stressing me out a little bit, but not the stressful kind of stress. It's like okay, I've got a good amount of pressure on me. So I've actually been crocheting even more than usual. That and the fact that I own an accounting firm, and so we are not as busy after major tax season is done, even though we don't do taxes, which is awesome too. Taxes are boring. Hi, Rick. Rick wants a rubber duck blanket for his Jeep. You want me to make you one? I know you can crochet, but I'll make you a blanket. I actually had you and Sarah on my list. I've got a list of people to make blankets for. You and Sarah are on my list, but I don't want to make you something if you already crochet for yourself. I've never had anybody give me a crochet gift, and I don't know. I suppose I would appreciate it. But, you know, I've got my own style and I can do my own work, and so I never think to make a crocheted gift for another crocheter. Let's see. Writing is fun says, since you started these lives, I've been crafting more in the evening. Thank you. Well, you know what? Since I started these lives, you have consistently been somebody who has come in and talked to me every single day since the beginning. And you made this easier for me at the very beginning. I'm not even joking. I've told my husband multiple times, I'm so glad they come in and talk. It makes me feel good. It's nice to have someone to talk to. All right, bye, little bird. Have a good night. Rick says, I'm not sure yet. I'll hold off now, especially since I know you can crochet. Let's go in here. Oh my word, you guys, it's already 7:15 almost. I got a couple more minutes here. Starting tomorrow, I will not be leaving. It's not my intention to leave at 7:15 anymore. I'll start like kind of looking at the clock around 7:25 or so. And if I've got time to shoot through another round, I'm going to do it. Again, because if you guys can't keep up with me for whatever reason, almost did my yarn the wrong way, then you can always catch the live once it posts in YouTube. And you should also have the written pattern. I think if anybody has looked at the pattern so far and has any hesitation about what this process is going to look like or anything, I think after we get through a couple rounds where we actually have color changes, so like in this area and starting in the black, after that, I think it's going to be very easy for you guys to do your work and catch up on stuff on your own too. But I do want to make sure that I do a live stream format where YouTube will save it, so people who prefer to follow video patterns or video tutorials, that's probably a perfect thing for them. I'm a written pattern person, so I struggle with video tutorials because I don't like working at somebody else's pace. All right, so I got my green, my white. Let me do 3 black. Writing is fun says, I'm very glad. You're very kind, at least on the internet. Don't sting anyone. Yes, on the internet. You know what? I try to be kind. I have, in real life, I can have an abrasive personality. I like things a certain way, and I am learning to calm down. Oh my gosh, I have learned so much to calm down. But it is nice when people meet me for the first time. I always expect that they're going to dislike me for whatever reason, and just lately, the last few years, I've been wrong on that so many times that I'm starting, I don't know, to think, oh, somebody's going to meet me, they're going to like me, and I'm going to have a new friend. And that's a really interesting way to change. So I'm glad that I'm growing through the insecurity that I had before with that, and thinking that people just automatically won't like me, because you know that changes the way you talk to people and interact. If you think they don't like you, you can make people not like you. Ask me how I know. All right. 8 orange, 2 black. 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. Grab up this black string. I'm glad there's a couple more black stitches in here. This gives me something else to weave into. Oh, wait, and that's right. This actually connects all the way up into... Does it? Yes, this ends up where I'm working right now, ends up going all the way, so I can actually weave my yarn all the way up into his leg without causing any problems. These little orange patches down here at the very bottom of his shoe, I had to weave in those. You know, it's like 5 stitches in there, and I had to weave those ends in. So I got a couple little hard spots that I'm not happy about, but there's nothing that can be done about them. So, all right, kids, thank you guys so much for coming in. Tomorrow is the thing. Oh, Tristan! Hi, Tristan! Rick, please tell Tristan hi. And I hope you guys do actually come out this summer. That would be cool if you can. Bring all the kids. Writing is fun. I have more growing to do in that aspect of life, but I suppose I'm still growing as a person eternally. Yep. And you never, if you stop growing, then that's when you start dying. So you just always be working on yourself. I wish I would have understood that concept when I was younger. I actually wish I would have understood when I was younger that I needed to work on myself. I don't know why I was so blind to that. It took me forever because I am a stubborn bat. So, all right, Karen is ready for tomorrow night. Little Rascals just finished up a royal blue, red and yellow bucket hat. Is your, I'm gonna go see if I can check out your profile. I don't know if your videos are private or not, but I'd like to go see that hat. So I'm gonna go look when I get off here. So, okay, thank you, Rick. Goodbye, everybody. And tomorrow night, get ready. We're finally going to be working on this thing, and I finally don't have to keep talking about it. We can actually get started on it. It's going to be a nice, simple one. The harder part doesn't come until way up here. So by the time we're up here, you guys will have plenty of experience, and it will be, oh, Little Rascal didn't take a picture yet. Well, when you take a picture, let me know. Tag me in it. That'd be awesome. So this will be the harder part, and this is not going to be hard at all. So I have faith in all of you. You guys all have a wonderful night. Thank you so, so, so much for joining, and I will see you tomorrow. Have a good night.